Let's take a look. So Jon Spector, much beloved leader of Overwatch League, actually. He's got his title here, Overwatch League Vice President at Blizzard. But I don't believe that's actually his current title, because he just posted today, 2 hours ago, this message, which you can't read all of it, but I'll read it out to you. Hard to believe it's been nearly 5 years, etc., etc. Some other cool stuff about his time with the Overwatch League. As we head into 2022, I want to share an exciting but bittersweet career update. I'm thrilled to be stepping into a new role as the commercial leader for Overwatch. Given my passion for this game and the entire ecosystem around it, I'm humbled to be given the opportunity to help lead the Overwatch franchise into its next chapter. So a couple of things there. What does commercial leader actually mean? I'll explain it in a bit. And when he talks about he's no longer with Overwatch League. He's not the commercial leader for Overwatch League. He's the commercial leader for Overwatch, and he's helping lead the Overwatch franchise into its next chapter. So this is I think, an excellent thing for the Overwatch League, because even though you're losing a person at the top that was extremely good, listened to a huge amount of feedback, tried to push the format into a better position, was always very intelligent in terms of how they weighed up the needs of various different groups, both the players, the safety, the fans, all of that kind of stuff. Yeah, you're losing a character like that at the top of the league, but you also gain an advocate within the Overwatch, like, not even developer. We're not talking Team 4 here. We're talking the people who are in charge of the entire franchise. So the real, like, big bosses steering the ship in terms of the Overwatch franchise itself and the IP. So we're talking, I presume, decisions like when to try and push a beta to the public, how to market that, whether we should be trying to push Overwatch free to play, stuff like how quickly to try and release the game, whether you can crunch, whether you can I don't mean that in the sense of like pressuring the devs, but whether you can try and get a product out quickly, or whether you should try and give it a ton more time. Like, I think all of these decisions are involved in being the commercial leader, as far as I'm aware anyway. Not that I'm an expert on it by any means. I wasn't hiring him. Also, I asked Matt earlier, or rather some of the other talent asked Matt, and Matt Morello actually looked up what the job description was for Jon. And it said brand management, business development, community development, live operations publishing, and more for the Overwatch franchise. So a lot of stuff, a huge amount of responsibilities, but generally just involved in tons. Is this a good thing? Absolutely. Is this a good thing for Overwatch League as well? Yes. Common concerns I would expect the community to have. Does this mean Overwatch League will be lacking leadership? I don't think so. Because I think Jon Spector is not the kind of person to leave people in the shit. I think that the people that they've currently brought onto Overwatch League probably have a very good plan in place already of what the 2022 season looks like in terms of format and stuff like that. Do they know all of the specifics? Because some of those are probably getting passed to them from the developer team and further people on high. Maybe not, but I think they've probably got a pretty good plan at this point, because I know that they had started those kind of talks way earlier this year than they had done previously. The other thing I suppose is like what... Yeah, I mean, I think that kind of solves both sides. I was going to break it into two parts and be like, does it lack leadership, and does that fuck the 2022 season? But I think I kind of summed up both aspects there. I think Jon Spector will have left them in pretty good shape. And I think it's just good to have an advocate for the league that's working in that kind of top position, because a lot of the time it feels like the Overwatch League is very secondary, but what I would hope is that Jon recognizes the marketing potential of the Overwatch League, and the people at the top recognize that as well. As you head into a season where Overwatch League is ostensibly going to be the only place that you can watch and people can play Overwatch 2, that means that it is the most major marketing tool that the Overwatch franchise currently has. Overwatch League has never been in that position before. Riot is the developer that frequently views its leagues as marketing tools. Blizzard has not. Blizzard treats its esports as a secondary product that it's willing to be somewhat supportive of, but I mean, in some aspects, very supportive of. The amount of money and hype that was generated about Overwatch League at the beginning is large, but not willing to make huge amounts of losses. There was always an aim for the project to be sustainable and not just be a loss leader for marketing's sake. Whereas next year, that becomes incredibly viable, at least from my point of view. That seems to be incredibly viable. And I would hope that Jon also shares that perspective. I have got AT&T, Wyatt, thankfully. So yeah, I think that this is a good thing for the league. Now, the other thing that Overwatch League itself tweeted out as well is big news today from the Overwatch League team. We're excited to welcome Sean Miller back as he rejoins the team preparing for an exciting 2022 season. Sean brings a passion for the league and a franchise and is ready to lead the team as we press go on a season that will run entirely on an early build of Overwatch 2's new PvP competitive mode. So again, the league is double, tripling down, quadrupling down. The league is going to be running entirely on an early build of Overwatch 2's new competitive PvP mode. Now, the copium of people saying, well, maybe it'll be announced, you know, like halfway through the season or something. It will be run entirely on an early build. The game will not be out during the Overwatch League 2022 season, motherfuckers. So it's gonna be a serious challenge to manage community hype, expectations, to tickle their balls and tease them a little bit, whilst not making them angry that they can't play the game that they're watching, whilst also adding enough stuff into the game to make it feel like a new game and not just a reskin or something else. It is so hard to try and manage the Overwatch franchise and Overwatch League next season. I do not want any of their jobs, and I wouldn't want Matt's job either, but fucking good work to him, because he's climbing the totem pole. So Matt Morello is now taking an expanded role within the Overwatch League community as well. I'm not sure exactly what role Matt has at the moment, but if you go to Matt's Twitter, his Twitter says Senior Manager Product and Content, which, I don't know, listen, just speaking from my point of view, the guy was a caster like 2 years ago, and being a caster is pretty good, but there's a lot of people who were in casting jobs who got to the top of being talent, let's say like 2018, 2019 kind of time, that were trying to pivot elsewhere. You think of Henry G trying to pivot into being a GM and going to making the Cloud9 a success. Moses did the same for Liquid. Jat tried to do the same and then joined, or rather, I can't remember the timeline of Jat actually because I'm not a League fan, but did Jat not try to join the development team for League or something, and then also he was doing something within the team? I must admit, I'm not a League fan, so I don't know the specifics, but I know that he was involved in this group of talent that were trying to break through the ceiling that's naturally on that, because talent in esports don't have the same salary ceiling as talent from traditional sports. If you're a talent in traditional sports, you're raking in the money, unbelievable money, because you're just a household name. For esports, you're pretty capped. I mean, you'll earn more money if you're a big streamer. You'll earn more money if you're, a senior something, a senior whatever, a holder of a senior executive title within a big company like Overwatch League. So this shit's just sick. Seeing people who are involved at the very base level of esports. And Matt isn't just a caster. Matt has done, production work and running shows and stuff like that for years and years and years. He's a goofball, but he's been involved at the top level of, or rather, he's been involved at both like the grassroots level and the casting level for a huge amount of time. He's very experienced, and he's been, I think, a great addition to the Overwatch League's behind-the-scenes team as well, helping get us prepped for next year and push and be an advocate for what the community would like to see. As far as I'm aware, he'll still cast. I can't speak for him because I've no idea what he's planning to do, but Matt enjoys casting, and I can't imagine that that he and Mitch would stop. He might, though. I don't know that for a fact. But I imagine he'll continue casting, and maybe he'll put out some announcement about that at some point anyway. So, yeah. As for the other person that is announced here, Sean Miller, I must admit I can't remember when he was part of Overwatch League, and I am going to feel extremely silly if I have met and interacted with him before, way back when. But I should probably do my research and figure out what he was in charge of previously, but I haven't. I simply haven't. So I can't tell you. I can't tell you.